Went on a date tonight. Well, let me be clear. I've never been on a real date here in East Africa where I meet a girl, wine her and dine her, pay for everything. Have never done that. Kind of dates I do are free dates. We'll meet at the beach, go on a walk, sit in the grass, go to a garden, something like that. I never spend money on women. So I was filming this last video I put up, 10 minutes of life on a road in Uganda. As I was filming, this girl in green overalls walked past me. And usually a girl will side eye me, give me a signal or something, but she just walked past me. And for me, at least, she had a pretty face, prettier than average. And so I just talked her up and I asked her. Somebody had told me that there were a band of monkeys hanging out in the deeper in the jungle part of the village, but I didn't quite understand that person's explanation, and so I talked to that about this girl. Maybe that's a little tip for you guys. It really doesn't matter what you talk about, just as long as you talk to her. Just open or just say hello. Talk about something neutral, not something that shows that you're like needy or desperate. So that's just a little tip for you guys. But yeah, I had heard that there was a band of monkeys hanging out in the farther back in the village jungle area. So I asked her about that. And she said she was going home. She was wearing green overalls because she's a plumber in training. She's going to a vocational school. I thought that was pretty cool to see a female plumber. And she wasn't like just doing it for the money. She said she was passionate about it, which blew my mind. I thought that was interesting. Anyways, I escorted her to her house. I met her sister. And then I took off and I went back home. We texted that night a little bit and the next day, and she said, on Saturday, if you want to hang out or go do something, hit me up. So I had a lot of personal drama in my life in the last 2 days, so I actually completely forgot about her and her invitation. So she messaged me this afternoon. Today is Saturday. She messaged me saying, hey, I'm still here if you want to hang out. And I was like, yeah, this is good because, when I go out in the evenings and I interact with people, it really, really helps my mental health, and it's good for me. Even though I'm an introvert and I would just rather stay in my room or be by myself, I make it an effort to socialize. It's just kind of like exercising. You might not want to do it, but it's good for you, so you do it. It's like that. So I told her I'd meet her at her place at 6, and we met up. And we started walking back into the village. This was a part of the village that I've never been to before. It was really beautiful out there, as you can see in the photos. Very lush and green and jungle-like. Of course, got all the neighborhood kids coming up to me and super curious and trying to greet me. Some of them will dance in front of me for no reason. They'll just burst out dancing. It's pretty cute. I was getting neutral vibes from her, but, I really don't like... I don't kiss ass when I meet a girl. I show like mild interest. I mean, even if I'm super interested in her, I'll just be like, I'll just be normal, So we're walking through the village and we did see these monkeys. I saw a band of monkeys in a group of trees. They were hanging out there. They were running across power lines on the walls, on people's roofs. And one thing that really annoys me is that when the locals here see monkeys, they pick up stones and hurl them at the monkeys. Now, from my perspective, that's just a shit thing to do. I mean, I would be so happy. I would be so happy if monkeys would hang out near my house. But I guess from their perspective, it's just like it's not even special to them. It's something they've seen all their life. And maybe they think that the monkeys are a nuisance. I've heard that monkeys will steal people's fruit or steal food. So, I mean, that's where they're coming from. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Got to see some monkeys, wild monkeys in the village. So after we saw the monkeys, we continued walking through the village. And these are all roads that I've never been down before. So it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed taking photos. We got back to my area, and I asked her if she wanted to sit down, because I just wanted to sit down and talk to her. Really didn't have it in mind that I wanted to sleep with her tonight. Sometimes with a girl I really like, I won't necessarily aim to have sex with her the first time. If I don't even think that she's even going to qualify to be a girlfriend, but I'm attracted to her, I will try to have sex with her on the first night. But with a girl I'm kind of interested in, I don't necessarily aim for that. And I was kind of interested in her, which, kind of surprised me, because I've pretty much closed off any options of having an African girlfriend again. And I can get into that in another video. But I was like, I kind of want to get to know her. She's cute. So I said, hey, would you like to sit down and watch them play, watch the guys play football, which Americans call soccer? And she's like, no, I don't want to sit down. And I was like, well, what's the problem? I said, are you worried that people will be looking at us, because I'm a Muzungu? She's like, no, it's not that. I think she was worried about just getting her jeans dirty. So honestly, that's a red flag for me. If a girl's like can't even sit on the ground, that's kind of a turnoff for me. There was another red flag earlier, actually the first day that I met her, when I came across a guy walking his dog, and the dog was adorable, and I kneeled down to pet the dog, and then she said, I don't like dogs. So now she had 2 red flags. But I'm still, willing to give her a chance. We did sit down, and I thought we would sit down and chat and like start getting to know each other. But she just pulled out her phone, and she sat far away from me, which was a very clear signal. Usually when a girl likes you, she'll try to, whether she realizes it or not, she'll try to be close to you. And I was just observing. I wasn't pushing for anything. I just was kind of seeing what would happen. And then this guy who I know, who lives here, he has some kind of disability. I think he can't speak. I'm not sure what his issue is. He came up to us, and he sat between us. And I don't think he can talk, so he communicates by touching and signing and, using his hands. And I noticed that she was very uncomfortable with him, which I kind of can't blame her, because people aren't used to that kind of communication. So before we had actually sat down to watch the guys play football, I had said, well, would you rather go to my room? And she said, okay. But to be honest, by this time in my mind, I had removed her from the potential girlfriend category. So as we're walking back to my room, I stopped her, because I didn't want to bring her into my room, get into this situation where she thinks she's just going to hang out in my room as a friend. I don't do that. I don't bring girls into my room just to talk. So I stopped her before we got to my place, and I said, so what kind of vibe are you getting? Is it just like a friend's vibe? And she's like, yeah. And I said, well, in that case, we shouldn't go to my room. And she said, okay. And I said, thank you. And she left. Just wanted to give a shout out to all you guys who have joined me on Patreon this month. Really happy to have you here. And if you guys want to see all of my 1,000 plus archive videos, they're all on Patreon, and you get an insight into a more private part of my life. Thanks for joining me on this video. Hope you enjoyed the pictures, the stories, and the advice. Deuces.